Happy Friday, everyone. It is September 13th, end of the week. I did want to give a quick note. This is going to be the last session recap for the foreseeable future. What I'm going to start doing is incorporating essentially this discussion in with the live streams that we have every day. So take a little more time before the actual session starts during the live streams to discuss essentially the prior session and how it actually applies to then the current day, trying to consolidate a little bit here. So that's the game plan. Just FYI, if you're looking out for these session recaps next week, they will not be happening. Again, they are going to be lumped in with the daily live stream that we have. So let's take a look at NQ here. So the focus coming into today was pretty much keeping with the theme that we've had for the duration of the week. And that theme is, can buyers continue the directional move higher? Now, Monday, remember we had that important gap higher. Now, that gap was still within the prior day's range. Last Friday was a trend day lower. Monday, we gap up above last Friday's structure. Let's take a look here so you have some clarity about what I'm talking about. So there's last Friday. You got that afternoon base, Monday morning gap, price retest Friday structure, and that kind of marks the low for the week. From there, price really starts to set up a series of higher lows, right? And that made for some challenging conditions early in the week. Now, Wednesday, we get the monster trend day move, a little bit of a bear trap here, especially on ES. And that trend day move, it breaks up through prior significant lower highs. And that triggers, as you know, a change in character. We're no longer in a downtrend. We have buyers showing their strength, right? We have a break of structure. And any break of structure is a change in character and how the market is actually trading. Now, we had actually identified that a little bit earlier in the week prior to that trend day actually happening. If you guys remember from Monday and Tuesday, we're talking about how buyers were actually showing up during these sessions. That is something that we had not seen in weeks prior. So that was definitely significant. Then coming into Thursday, all you want to do is see, all right, well, can buyers sustain the move? Are they going to continue? And we actually end up seeing that continuation, a little bit of consolidation off the open, right? But price essentially pushes higher, closes near the highs, and that brings us into today. And the watch is very, very similar. Can buyers sustain that move? And typically when I'm looking for that directional move, like I was today and yesterday as well, we can just lean on one primary reference point, and that's typically going to be the prior day's high. So prior day high offered a number of great setups today. Outside of that, we did have some really good setups versus some prior day structure points in that overnight low, plus our level of interest, right? So notice how this prior day structure is here from yesterday, and then all the volume from the sesh is through there as well. So what I had asked ahead of the open this morning in the live stream was, we want to see, is this action through here? Is this volume point of control? Is this accumulation? And if it is accumulation, then this entire area should hold as support, right? But if all this volume from yesterday's session was buying, essentially, to put it more simply, then it should continue to hold as support. And that's what we see today. So buyers definitely back in control, which is great for a long only like myself. Now, taking a look at the structure, we definitely have some challenges coming up here, and that is this essentially 600 level of interest and 690 level of interest. This is a major area of resistance all through here, right through there. You can see, make this red so we know it's bearish, right? You can see that every test of this zone previously sellers just showing up. Prior to that, right, if you extend this, you can see it was a key pivot previously too. Resistance during this period, early August, and then becomes support briefly, right? And then if you actually zoom out even more, like if you flip over to your 4-hour chart, you'll see that even on the much more zoomed out picture there is still going to be a significant pivot. So that would show up on your daily and your weekly time frame charts too. Look at the significance of this area. So that's going to be a major zone when price is actually in that area. I do expect a little bit of trickier action, right? It's going to be a little bit trickier through there until we see either a clean break or a clean rejection. So any action between 600, 700 will be a time for me personally to be cautious, right? Until we see, like I said, a clean break on higher time frames, not like a 5-minute break, but like an hourly break, or some sort of rejection there as well, right? So looking at the reaction into that 600, 700 zone is going to be the primary watch, potentially on Monday, depending on what we're looking at with Monday. Now, Monday will most likely be a slower session simply because we have FOMC next week, right? And so for Monday, what I'll be looking at is the edge points of today's structure, today's high and today's low, and kind of leaning on those 2 points to kind of determine the bias and the setup for the session. Now, NQ is now 5 consecutive days higher. So the question is, do we start to see some sellers step in up here in the 600, 700 area? As always, no crystal ball. But that is a question that we should be thinking about as we get into next week. So Monday, expecting a bit of a slower session. We'll see what we get Tuesday as well. But the big one is Wednesday, FOMC. So there will be a lot of action on Wednesday and then carried over into Thursday and likely Friday, of course, as well. So get ready for that. Expecting some great setups, expecting some great action next week. It will be highly volatile. In addition to FOMC, we have contract roll. So contract roll has been a little tricky these past couple of days. If you've noticed the big kind of liquidation moves, the big kind of washout moves, that has to do with contract roll. So something to keep in mind. Stay nimble. Make sure you're keeping your stops in. So Monday, main focus, today's structure, right? We're just looking to see, do buyers have that continued appetite into that key area of resistance? Jumping over to ES, similar type of approach for today. Can buyers sustain the prior day high? You have a really nice retest at the prior day high right off the open, right? Really nice opening drive type of entry right through there on ES, and then price breaks up through the pre-market high, that 56.20 level of interest, and just holds as support all day. So you get the initial push, right? And then I call this like a neutral range-bound day. Price, no real trend here. Price just trades sideways. So range day, good neutral day for ES. Now let's zoom out, take a kind of bird's eye view, see where we're at. So we're within this prior range, right? Kind of in the midpoint of that prior range. So buyers, what they're attempting to do is push up and through this 56.35 level of interest, which is also higher time frame volume point of control, to test 56.50 and then the top part of this range, right? 56.65. So it's kind of where we're at now within the prior range, but near term context is a very strong trend higher following bear trap Wednesday, right? Big change of character, higher low. We'll see if that next higher low starts to develop maybe on Monday, maybe Tuesday, just see what that looks like. So that's the watch. Approach is going to be quite similar to NQ. I want to see how price trades versus today's range coming into Monday. So I hope you guys had a good day, had a good week. If you have questions about anything, feel free to reach out over the weekend or even this afternoon, this evening in the Traders Think Tank. Be happy to help you out with your trading. Otherwise, I'll see you guys Monday morning. Have a great weekend and take care.